Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa halal uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Awzan al-masdar, the patterns of the masdar that we have learned so far. We have learned masdar al-marrah, which comes on the pattern of fa'latun, and the example is darbatun. Then we have also learned masdar al-hay'a, which comes on the pattern of fi'latun, and the example is ishatun. So the only difference we can see is here fa'ul kalima has fatha, and here fa'ul kalima has kasra. Then we have learned about masdar al-mimi, and we have seen that it comes from thalathi mujarrad and also comes from thalathi mazid fi. So when we talk about thalathi mujarrad, it has four patterns. It can come on the pattern of maf'alun wa maf'alatun, for example, madrabun wa mamatun. And similarly, it can come on the pattern of maf'ilun wa maf'ilatun, for example, maw'idun wa ma'rifatun. So here we have the examples of masdar al-mimi that comes from thalathi mujarrad, the verbs that have three root letters. Then we have to see that there are some patterns for masdar al-mimi for thalathi mazid fi, the verbs that have extra root letters. And it always comes on the pattern of ismul maf'ul. Ismul maf'ul, it can be any bab, it can be bab taf'il, mufa'ala, istif'al. It can be any bab, so it will always come on the pattern of ismul maf'ul. For example, mumazzaqun is mazzaqa yumazziqu tamziqan, and fahuwa mumazziq, fadhaka mumazzaq. So mumazzaq is ismul maf'ul, and if needed, it can be used as masdar, and also it can be used as masdar al-mimi. Why do we call it masdar al-mimi? Because it starts with meme all the time. There is an additional meme that is added to it, so that's why it is called masdar al-mimi. Similarly, we have mudkhalun. It's basically adkhala yudkhilu idkhalan, and mudkhal. And similarly, we have munqalabun. It is inqalaba yanqalibu inqilaban, and we have munqalabun. So now ismul maf'ul is munqalabun, and similarly it can be used as masdar al-mimi as well. Ayya munqalabin yanqalibun. So now we can see over here what kind of return they will be returned. Munqalabun mithalu li masdar al-mimi wa huwa ma kana fi awwalihi mimun za'idatun. And what is masdar al-mimi? As I have mentioned earlier, that in the beginning there is an extra meme. Nahwu madrabun wa mamatun wa ma'rifatun wa maqdiratun, and similarly wa maw'idun. So all of these we can see that they are masdar al-mimi. That means they start with meme. ومن غير الثلاثي المجرد, and from the verbs that are derived forms of the verb, يأتي على زنة اسم المفعول. It comes on the pattern of ism al-maf'ul. Zinatun is also basically it's a masdar. Wazana yazinu, waznun wa zinatun. So this one has two patterns, waznun wa zinatun. This is also a very rare pattern of masdar that we can see over here, as we have the adhkar of morning and adhkar of evening, and we make this dua every time. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalimatihi. So wazinata arshihi, as we can see over here, zinatun is used as masdar as well. Nahwu munqalabun wa muqamun wa mudkhalun wa mukhrajun. So whenever we have abwab that are ghayru thalathi al-mujarrad, that means they are mazid fi, then the masdar will always come on the pattern of ism al-maf'ul. And munqalab, as we can see, inqalaba yanqalibu inqilaban fa munqalab. Similarly, aqama yuqimu iqamatan fahuwa muqimun fadhaka muqamun. And similarly, mudkhal wa mukhraj, adkhala yudkhilu idkhalan, and we have mudkhal, and similarly akhraja yukhriju ikhrajan, and we have mukhraj. في التنزيل in the Quran, وقال الذين كفروا هل ندلكم على رجل ينبئكم إذا مزقتم كل ممزق إنكم لفي خلق جديد. So now we can see over here, muzziq, mazzaqa yumazziqu tamziqan. Muzziq is basically passive form of mazzaqa yumazziqu. And now we can see over here that mumazzaq is used as masdar. It is used as uh, mamatun. Okay, so it was basically mamwatun. It was mamwatun, and you might have seen that what happens, there are some changes that always take place whenever we have the weak letters. What happens with the weak letters? Whenever wow is mamwatun, whenever wow is mutaharrik and there is fatha before it, then it changes into alif. So it becomes mamatun. We have discussed about this in book number 2. So these are basically the changes. Whenever we have the weak letters, please make sure that there will be always some changes that will take place. So the change that has taken place over here, it is basically wow has changed into alif, so it has become mamatun. Is this clear? Okay. And the next example we have over here, فَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَحَادِيثَ وَمَزَّقْنَاهُمْ كُلَّ مُمَزَّقٍ. So we made them narrations and dispersed them into total dispersion. Now the question is, if we have, for example, mumazzaq, if we have mumazzaq being used in the Quran, or if you have any other word that is being used in Arabic, how would you differentiate, or how would you know if it is used as ismul maf'ul or if it is used as maf'ul mutlaq? So it's very easy to understand. Or for number one, we mentioned in the beginning of the lesson that it will maf'ul mutlaq, or the absolute object, will always come after the verb that has been mentioned earlier. So mazzaqnahum tamziqan, and similarly it can be mazzaqnahum kulla mamazzaqin, because we can see that here kulla is basically being used as the deputy of the masdar. Also, ismul maf'ul in Arabic language can be used in 3 ways. Ismul maf'ul, mumazzaq, as we know that this is ismul maf'ul, so it can be used in 3 ways. In the past, we have learned that from mazid fi, it can be used in 2 ways. And now we are seeing here that it can be used in 3 ways. What are those? For example, we have mukhrajun. Mukhrajun, we see that it comes from akhraja, yukhriju ikhrajan, and fahuwa mukhrijun. So the one who brings out will be mukhrij, right? The person who does the action is mukhrij, ismul fa'il, and ismul maf'ul will be mukhraj. Now, how do we know that mukhraj is being used as ismul maf'ul, or is it being used as ismul dharf, or it is used as masdar al-mimi? So it's very important. Please notice over here. First of all, ismul maf'ul, the one who, or the one which is brought out. So if something is, or someone is brought out, it will be ismul maf'ul. Ismul dharf, the place or time of bringing out. So if it refers to time, then it will be ismul dharf. And masdar al-mimi, it will give the meaning of the masdar. For example, it will give the meaning of ikhraj, to bring something out. So now it depends on the context. From the context, we will see whether it is being used as ismul maf'ul, or whether it is being used as ismul dharf, and whether it is being used as masdar al-mimi. So whenever it is being used as masdar al-mimi, it will give the same meaning as the masdar, or the real masdar itself. For example, when we say ikhraj, the meaning of ikhraj is to bring out. And similarly, when we say mukhraj, and if it is used as masdar al-mimi, then it will give the same meaning as to bring out. And similarly, if you see over here, فَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَحَادِيثَ وَمَزَّقْنَاهُمْ كُلَّ مُمَزَّقٍ. Now we can see that mazzaqa yumazziqu is to disperse, but when we see that mumazzaq is dispersion, so we know that dispersion is a noun, and masdar al-mimi is a noun, so that's why it is being translated as dispersion. But if it is used as maf'ul bihi, or if it is used as ismul maf'ul, or if it is used as ismul dharf, then it will be the place of dispersion. And if it is used as ismul maf'ul, that it will be give the meaning of something that has been dispersed. But here it is not translated as something that has been dispersed. It is not being translated as the place of dispersion. It has been translated as dispersion itself. So Mazzaqa yumazzaku tamziqan. Tamziq means dispersion, and mumazzaq also means dispersion. So inshallah, when you focus a little bit more on this, it will be inshallah clear. If it's not clear, please let me know. But the thing that we need to know, first we have learned that if a word comes on the pattern of mumazzaqun or muf'alun, it can be used as ismul maf'ul and ismul dharf. And today we are learning that it can also be used as masdar al-mimi. So in the Quran, for example, if the word is used as mudkhal or mukhraj or mumazzaq, now from the context, you will be able to understand whether it is used as ismul maf'ul or it is used as ismul dharf or it is being used as masdar al-mimi. المصدر الذي يلاقي في الاشتقاق المصدر الواقعي مفعولا مطلقا شيئان. We have learned that المصدر الذي يلاقي that meets في الاشتقاق in the derived forms. المصدر الواقع مفعولا مطلقا, it happens to be the absolute object. شيئان in two ways. There are two ways that it can be. We have discussed about this in the beginning of the lesson and throughout the lesson, and it is being repeated once again that if the verb and the masdar, they have the same root letters, there is a possibility that a different bab can be used. A different verb form or different bab can be used. For example, here masdarun min babi mukhtalifin. For example, masdar is from a different bab. As we have learned 10 babs starting from number 1 up to number 10. وَتَبَتَّلْ إِلَيْهِ تَبْتِيلًا. Now we can see in Surah Muzammil, we can see that tabtil is from bab fa'ala, right? Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'ilan, battala yubattilu tabtilan. So tabtil is from number 2. It's from fa'ala, which is from number 2. Naba'an tabattul, but it is deputizing from bab number 5, min babi tafa'ala, which is from number 5. So what is being or what is happening over here, that they might meet yulaqi fil ishtiqaqi, that they meet in the derived forms, but there can be two different bab, but they can be used alternatively. For example, watabattal ilayhi tabtila. So tabattal we can see here is from number 5 and tabtil is from number 2. So it's always possible, and especially when we talk about al-maf'ul al-mutlaq or the absolute object, then it is possible that the verb can be from a different bab and the masdar can be from a different bab. However, the meaning will be the same. They will convey the same meaning. Ilayka mithalaini akhiraini. Then you have two more examples. وَلَوْ يُعَجِّلُ اللَّهُ لِلنَّاسِ الشَّرَّ استعجالهم. So it will be, of course, للناس الشر استعجالهم. But if we just want to break it out just to understand, so it will be استعجالهم بالخير لقضي إليهم أجلهم. Now we can see that عجل يعجل تعجيلا is from number 2, but استعجال is from number 10. استعجل يستعجل استعجالا. So we can see over here, وَلَوْ يُعَجِّلُ اللَّهُ لِلنَّاسِ الشَّرَّ اسْتِعْجَالَهُم. Now we can see over here that from number 2, and then the masdar that is being used is from number 10. And if Allah was to hasten for the people the evil, they invoke as He hastens for them the good, their term would have been ended for them. So now we can see over here that here we have from number 2 and here we have from number 10. Tabassamtu ibtisaman. Tabassama yatabassamu tabassuman is from number 10, and ibtasama yabtasimu ibtisaman is from number 7, right? Is this 7 or 8? So I guess it's either 7 or 8. I don't remember. Maybe you remember. So tabassamtu ibtisaman, I smiled smilingly. So again, we can see that two different verb forms have been used. In fact, this is the verb itself, and this is the masdar that is being used over here. So there is a possibility that the verb can belong to a different bab, and the masdar can belong to a different bab, but they will convey the same meaning. The idea will be the same, but the meaning will be different. Now, one might be thinking like, why is that? Of course, this is what we call the richness and the beauty of Arabic language, that it has ajaib allati la tantahi. So basically, it has wonders that never come to an end. And we would say that this is one of the wonders of the Arabic language that we are seeing over here, that the verb is used from a different bab, and the masdar is being used from a different bab. Now, in English, there is a possibility we can say he smiled to me smilingly, but we can't really use different type of verb, or we don't really have lots of choices, especially in English or any other language. But now we can see that in Arabic, alhamdulillah, we have lots of choices. And again, this is the beauty of the Arabic language. So that's number one, that the bab can be different. And number two, masdarun min al-fi'l al-mujarradi, that the masdar is from the verb that has three root letters. Yanubu adil masdari min al-mazidi, but it deputizes for al-masdar al-mazid, that is from the derived form. For example, nahwu subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yaqulun uluwan kabira. So now we can see here, ta'ala is from number 8, I guess. And uluwan, we can see that it is from number 1. So what we have seen over here, فَعُلُوًا يَنُوبُ عَلَى تَعَالٍ. So we can see over here that that from number 1, that has 3 root letters, the verb that has 3 root letters, it can be used for the forms from number 2 up to from number 10, from taf'il up to istif'al. So it can be used as a masdar of the derived forms of the verb. إليك أمثلة أخرى. We have more examples over here. أحب and أحب الله حبا جما. Now أحب is from number, which form is this? From number 4. أحب يحب إحبابا, and حبا is from number 1. So this is mazid and this is ثلاثي al-mujarrad. I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly or lovingly. أحب الله حبا جما. Similarly, اشتريت أساة شراءً. So we can see that اشتريت is mazid fi, and shira'an is from number 1, ثلاثي al-mujarrad. So there is a possibility, as we have seen over here, that the masdar will be from the verbs that have 3 root letters, and the verb that is being used is from the derived forms of the verb. توفي فلان وفاة طبيعية. Someone died a natural death. So again, توفي is derived form, it is mazid, and wafatan is from number 1, which is الثلاثي al-mujarrad. So there are 2 possibilities that we have seen over here. Possibility number 1 is that the bab can be different, the verb can be from different bab, and the masdar can be from different bab. And number 2, we have seen that the verb will be from the mazid fi form, and the masdar will be from al-thalathi al-mujarrad, as we have seen the examples over here. Now, here I have a summary for you of anwa al-masdar. So whatever we have learned about everything about masdar, we have a summary over here. So first of all, we have learned that masdar itself, for example, nasara yansuru nasran, so it is a masdar. And what do we call it? Basically, I forgot to mention here, it is called al-masdar as-sarih. What do we call it? Al-masdar as-sarih. We can say the real masdar or the direct masdar, so as-sarih. So for example, nasara yansuru nasran, fataha yaftuhu fathan, daraba yadribu darban. So this is called the real masdar or al-masdar as-sarih. That's number 1. Number 2, we have al-masdaru al-mu'awwalu, the interpreted masdar. And we know that it is a combination of an plus fi'l mudari. Excellent. So we have wa an tasumu khairul lakum. So it is basically siyamukum khairul lakum. Siyamukum khairul lakum, but when we use it as masdar al-mu'awwal, it will be wa an tasumu khairul lakum. Then we have seen that masdar al-marra comes on the pattern of fa'alatun, and the example is darbatun. Masdar al-hayya comes on the pattern of fi'latun, and we have the example of ishatun. And masdar al-mimi from thalathi mujarrad, it comes on the pattern of maf'alun wa maf'alatun, and similarly maf'ilun wa maf'ilatun, and mazid fi, it comes on the pattern of ismul maf'ul. So here is a summary of everything that we have learned about anwa al-masdar, or the different types of masdar. Is this clear? So inshallah, after, I'm sure, like having a look at this, now inshallah we are confident that we know everything about masdar, and what is left upon us is to practice. And of course, inshallah, uh, what can be the best possible way of learning and implementing the rules that we are learning other than the Quran. So let's see the examples that we have over here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنا نحن نزلنا عليك القرآن تنزيلا. So what kind of masdar is this?
Mutlaq.
Mutlaq, al-maf'ul mutlaq. And why is it being used? للتأكيد المعنى, right?
Emphasis.
للتأكيد المعنى, for the purpose of emphasis. And we know that نزل is from number 2, and then we have تنزيلا. So it will be, yes, المفعول المطلق للتأكيد المعنى. Then we have نحن خلقناهم وشددنا أسرهم وإذا شئنا بدلنا أمثالهم تبديلا.
نحن شددنا. Here it is as a meaning, Ustad, something like that.
لا
No.
بدلنا and تبديلا.
بدلنا. Okay, تبديل.
The same thing, right? And you might have noticed that most of the examples that we have in the Quran, they are from number 2.
Only.
Yeah, maf'ul mutlaq only, and also the second form of the verb, that is taf'il. Taf'il has lots of examples. Similarly, we have, so this is also للتأكيد المعنى, and then we have ولا تبذر تبذيرا. Again, we have تبذر, yeah, and we have تبذيرا مفعول مطلق للتأكيد المعنى. Then we have ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل ضلالا مبينا. Yes.
Okay, this one is by what is that?
للنوع, yeah. المفعول المطلق
yeah.
للنوع. Okay, so this is basically whenever it is followed by adjective. For example, ضلال مبينا, the clear misguidance. So we can see that whenever it is, either it has to be followed by the adjective, or it will be the combination of mudaf mudaf ilayh. Excellent, perfect. Yeah, so whenever we see that, that will be libyan al-na'u, that will be for the type libyan al-na'u. And if we don't have that, then it will be al-maf'ul al-mutlaq, the real masdar by itself. Wa asrartu lahum israra.
This is maf'ul mutlaq.
Excellent. And this is from number? From number?
I think this one is form 4, is it?
For excellent, yeah. If'al, that's the only form that has hamzatul qati', only form where you know that the past tense and fi'l al-amr, and past tense, fi'l al-amr, and the masdar will always have hamzatul qati'. Hamzatul qati'. Okay, and then we have وَأَرَدْنَا جَهَنَّمَ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْكَافِرِينَ أَرْضًا.
This is again maf'ul mutlaq.
Mutlaq للتأكيد المعنى, right? للتأكيد المعنى. So all of them, they are being used for the purpose of emphasis. This is also for the purpose of emphasis, but we say لبيان النعو, and the rest of we say لبيان التأكيد.
It's so frightening, that verse. Just displaying the Jahannam to this thing.
Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from Jahannam. Allahumma ajirna minan nar. So whenever we hear about Jahannam or about hellfire, then I think we should make this dua, Allahumma ajirna minan nar.
Minan nar.
Yeah, then we have وقال الذين اتبعوا لو أن لنا قرة فنتبرأ منهم كما تبرأوا منا. قرة. This one now. I will give you a hint. فعلة. It's فعلة قرة.
Okay.
مصدر Marra, excellent. Yeah, Masdar al-Marra, because it is on the pattern of fa'alatun. Now, if we remember the patterns, and again, please, I didn't really have enough time to mention to put the translation and also the verse references. So inshallah, you can do it by yourselves. But what we are focusing on now is basically on the masdar, and we have, if you remember the patterns, for example, as I said, it's on the pattern of fa'alatun, then it will be masdar al-marra, and masdar al-hay'a is on the pattern of fi'latun. So there will be only difference of fatha and kasra. فإنما هي زجرة واحدة. زجرة فعلة فعلة. مصدر مرة. Excellent. Because it's on the pattern of فعلة. Okay. Then we have صبغة الله ومن أحسن من الله صبغة. صبغة فعلة. المصدر الهيئة.
Yeah, the other one.
because it's on the pattern
Because
of
it has
فعلة.
kasra over there.
كسرة. Okay, perfect. So it's مصدر الهيئة. ولكل وجهة هو موليها.
هيا.
هيئة. Excellent. مصدر الهيئة, because you can see the pattern over here. ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا. معيشة مفعلة. مفعلة. مفعل ومفعلة. The last one that we learned.
Mimi only have.
Yes, excellent. Masdar al-mimi, perfect. And because it's on the pattern of maf'ilatun. And again, you might be thinking like how it is maf'ilatun. Then again, we have, whenever we have the weak letters, for example, ya is over there. So we know that whenever we have the weak letters, some changes take place over there. So it was basically ma'ishatun, but then again, when we know that ya has fatha or kasra or dhamma, when ya is mutaharrik and there is kasra before it, then it changes into kasra, so it becomes ma'ishatan dhanka. Then we have أو إطعاما في يوم ذي مسغبة. يتيما ذا مقربة أو مسكينا ذا متربة. مفعلة مفعلة مفعلة.
Yeah. Same thing.
Same thing. So masdar al-mimi. Excellent. So now, to be honest, whenever I was reciting these verses of the Quran, I was always thinking like these words I wasn't able to figure out. But after doing these lessons and after completing these books, alhamdulillah, I'm really happy that most of the the words of the Quran I can figure out now, and we can figure out now that how they are being used and what is the purpose of figuring them out. The purpose is that we will be inshallah like sure about the meaning, like in what context it has been used and what could be the possible meaning of that. Of course, as of now, we will stick to the translations, but inshallah, with the passage of time, when we get used to it, then when we are listening to the Shaykh or when we are reciting the Quran directly, then inshallah, we will be able to relate like what exactly is happening and what exactly are the meaning of the verses of the Quran that we are learning. So alhamdulillah, we had a very good practice. And in the end of the lesson, we always have some vocab. And vocab is very important. And I'm sure that when we start the lesson, and then when we complete the lesson, it takes us like around 3-4 lessons. So sometimes it's difficult to remember the whole vocab. So in the end, we can discuss it always. So qadima, it is on the pattern of sami'a yasma'u, qadima yaqdamu, quduman wa maqdaman. So what is maqdaman basically?
It's the masdar.
Masdar mimi. Please be sure about it, because quduman is masdar as-sarih, right? And whenever you have after qadim, after the verb, whenever you see a masdar, then that means that this is masdar al-mimi, because there is no other possibility of masdar coming after the verb. Either it will be masdar as-sarih or it will be masdar al-mimi, nothing else. So maqdaman is masdar al-mimi. Takhfif, give me the past and the present tense, please.
Khaffafa.
Khaffafa. Yukhaffifu takhfifan, from number 2. To reduce something. And why it is translated as takhfif? Because it is masdar, and we know that masdar can be translated as noun, and also it can be translated as to plus from number 1. So it can be to reduce or reduction. Both of the possibilities are there, to reduce or reduction. Then we have baraka, yubariku mubarakatan. So would anyone tell me which bab is this? This is bab number 3. It's clearly mentioned over here. But why do we have extra ta over here?
Because of the alif extra, the alif. If there's a weak letter, then you said
it's not extra alif. It's basically we have, this is ajwaf, right? Because the verb which is ajwaf means when the second root letter, or in the middle, when we have the weak root letter, it can be waw or ya, because alif cannot be the part of the root letters. We know that. So it can be either waw or ya, right? So and then what happens, waw or ya, they change into alif. So it is baraka yubariku mubarakatan. Excellent. Then we have zada yazidu ziyadatan, to grow or to increase. And then we have aghlaqa yughliqu ighlaqan from number 4. Yeah. Tafifun, so it is slight or little. Taffafa yutaffifu tatfifan. Please give me a name of the verse of the Quran which comes from the same root letters. Mutaffifin. Excellent.
Yes.
طفف يطفف تطفيفا فهو مطفف. مطفف مطففان مطففون مطففون مطففين مطففين. ويل للمطففين. And then there is a wail for those when they give less. الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون. When they take from the people, they take in full. But when they give to the people, they give in less. So please, it's a complete code of life or conduct of life. It is not only restricted to measuring the weight. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be a shopkeeper and I might be making like changes in slight changes or little changes in measuring. It is for everything in our lives. For example, if I am a professional, I go to work, I expect my boss to give me or my company to give me the salary in full by the end of the month. But when I do my work, I don't do it completely. I go late, I come early. So I am mutaffif. So anyone who is doing any kind of job, being a husband, a father, a mother, whenever we do the job of, or whenever we do tatfif, it implies to everyone. So that's the beauty of the Quran, and that's the beauty of of what we are learning now. So we have to make sure, and we have to remind ourselves all the time that, am I going to be a person who is mutaffif, who is giving less, but he takes full? So this is something that is very, very, comprehensive. It's not something, just, and what happens to someone who commits tatfif? He will have hell. So may Allah protect us from that. Yeah. The wailun, that is the deepest valley of the hell, where the hell itself seeks refuge from it. So may Allah protect it from us. So we have to make sure that inshallah we are not among those who are mutaffifin. So we have here khaffafa yukhaffifu takhfifan. We have seen over here to reduce, to lighten, to pronounce a letter without shadda. So that's why we call it takhfif. Qara'a yaqra'u qira'atan, to read. Afrada yufridu ifradan, to render a word singular. So that's why we say mufrad. And similarly we say ifradullah ta'ala min kulli shay, to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from everything. Ihtamma yahtamu ihtimaman, to pay attention. Mufradatun, the vocab. So mufradun is one word and mufradatun is used for the words, or it is used for the vocab. Sharaha yashrahu sharhan, to explain. Sharhan wajizan. And then we have wajiz, short or concise. Rattala yurattilu tartilan, to recite Quran slowly. And we discussed about this, that inshallah sometimes we will see like what exactly it means. Rattala yurattilu tartilan, because in different translations you will see different meanings. To recite the Quran slowly, to recite the Quran in a measured way, and there are some other translations
with
as well.
Contemplation, yes.
Yeah, with contemplation, but then and also to follow the rules of the tajweed. But then the end of the day, we can, I think, only relate it if we know the Arabic language, what exactly it means. Then we have kallama yukallimu takliman wa kalaman, to speak or to talk to someone. Sallama yusallimu tasliman, to greet. So what about, this is with the preposition of ala. What about the preposition of ila? If it comes with the preposition of ila, then what does it mean? Sallama ila
Here.
is
It's
to
like
hand
prayer.
over, to hand over something to someone. Sallamtu ilayhi awraqi, I handed over to him my papers. So when it comes with the preposition of ila, that means to hand over something, and ala is to greet. Shaqqa yashukku shaqqan, to split. Sabba yasubu sabban, to pour. Qala yaqulu qawlan, to say. Faza yafuzu fawzan, to be successful, to triumph, to achieve, to accomplish. Sadidun, correct. And we have learned the verse of the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Yes. Qulu qawlan sadida.
Qawlan shadida.
Excellent. Sadida. That's sadida with sin.
Sadida, yeah.
Yeah, if it is shadida, the meaning will be completely different,
Be
right?
shadid, that is
Yeah,
very
that will be the forceful kalam, and that is strictly forbidden in our Islam, right? We have to be right and correct and not shadid. We don't have to be hard. Then we have zana yazni, zinan. Then we have jalada yajlidu jildan, to whip, to flog. Tabarraja yatabarraju tabarrujan, to display one's charms, and especially for the women. Labbaika, here I am at your service. So labbaik, labba yulabbi talbiyatan. And we pronounce it when we go for Hajj or Umrah. And even if your father calls you, so you can say labbaika. And if your mother calls you, you can say labbaiki. Excellent. And tabarrajul jahiliyatu, the time of ignorance preceding the advent of Islam. So before Islam, when the women used to
the women
do
were
the act of
displaying their
tabarruj.
beauty.
Yes.
Surah Azab.
Yes. Then we have nabbaha yunabbihu tanbihan, to draw someone's attention or to notify, or to give warning as well. Jalasa yajlisu julusan, to sit. Munasibun, suitable. Nasaba yunasibu munasibatan fahuwa munasibun, something that is suitable. So whenever you see a word, try to go to the depth and try to do the conjugation. Atlaka yutliqu itlaqan. So from number 4, very common. Lafdhun, and the plural is alfadhun, word. Then we have mahala yamhalu mahalan, to do something leisurely or slowly, not in a hurry.
One of the verse it says, leave them for some while, something like that. Mahalan.
Yeah. So
Juzamma, I think.
famahil al-kafirin, famahil
Yeah, kafirina, malhilhum.
amhilhum rawaida. Yeah. Famahil al-kafirina amhilhum rawaida. And mahil and amhal, both of them, by the way, from number 3 and 4 being used in one verse of the Quran. Mahil is mahala yumahilu, and amhil is amhala yumhilu. And we have discussed this verse as well. Akhadha yuakhidhu muakhadatan, to censure or to punish. Rabbana la tuakhidna in nasina aw akhtana. Right? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to punish us if we forget or if we make a mistake. Then we have laqa yulaqi mulaqatan, to meet. And again here there is extra ta, because this is ajwaf verb, because there is waw or ya over there. Ishtaqqa yashtaqu ishtiqaqan. So from number 8, to derive a word from another word. So that's why we say ishtiqaq, when we say that this noun is mushtaqun, that means it is derived from the verb, or derived from the masdar or from the verb. Tabattul and tabattulan, to be cut off from the world and devote oneself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we have battala yubattilu tabdilan, in the same context, the meaning is the same, but in the Quran we have seen that the verb and the masdar have been used in different way. Ambata yumbitu imbatan, to make plant grow. Then we have torathan, the legacy or inheritance. A'lana yu'linu i'lanan, to announce. Then we have majalun, the domain or the subject. Asarra yusirru israran ila, wa asrartu lahum israra, to confide or to speak secretly. And then we have nala yanalu nailan. Also manal, it's very, very important verb. Lan tanalul birra hatta tunfiqu mimma tuhibbun, right? So lan tanalul birra, you can't reach. So to attain, to achieve. So this is also a very important verb. Khuludun, khalada yakhludu, khuludan is immortality or eternal life. And similarly we have khalidina fiha, those ahlul jannah, they will live in Jannah forever. Allahumma arzuqna al-Jannah. Today I'm really again out of my, mabruran, valid or accepted. Hajjan, مبرورا, right? Then we
Yes.
have استطاع يستطيع استطاعة, to be able or can. ودع يودع توديعا ووداعا, as we know that it can have two masdar, to bid farewell or to say goodbye. And we have learned that the hadith that pray as if this is your last prayer.
Last one.
مودع, the one who says farewell, the active particle. عمل يعامل معاملة, to treat. And then we have mala yamilu milan or mailan, to incline towards something. Shatitun, separated or dispersed. Talaqqa yatalaqqa talaqiyan, to receive something. And then we have lahiqa yalhaqu luhuqan, to become attached. Inqalaba yanqalibu inqilaban, to be turned upside down, to return. Then we have mazzaqa.
For the turning of the hearts. Lives, that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have Ya Muqallib al-Qulubi, Thabbit Qalbi ala Dinik. Yeah. A very important dua. Most of the times we make it in sajda. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we say, Ya Muqallib al-Qulubi, Thabbit Qalbi ala Dinik. Yeah. It's a very important dua. Then we have Mazzaqa yumazziqu tamziqan, to tear into pieces. Qadara yaqduru qudratan. Qadara ala, and to have power or be able to do something. فَهُوَ قَادِرٌ. Zana yazinu zainan, to decorate or to beautify. However, in the Quran we have zayyana yuzayyinu tazyinan. Then we have ajjala yuajjilu ta'jilan, to speed or to expedite. Sharrun is evil. Hadithun, and the plural is ahadithu, on the pattern of mafa'ilu. Mamnu'an min as-sarf, speech or talk. Ista'jala yastajilu istijalan, to be in a hurry. Ala ya'lu uluwan, to be high. Qada yaqdi qada'an also has lots of meanings: to decree, to spend time, to judge, so on and so forth. Similarly, waqa yaqa'u wuqu'an also has lots of meanings: to fall down, to come to pass, be located, and similar to be situated as well. Then we have ajalun, and the plural is ajalun, appointed time, deadline, or time of death. Ta'ala yata'ala ta'aliyan, to ascend or to be high, and we know that this verb is only used for
It should be used only for
Allah
Allah
subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, and it is used for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran as well. Then we have ahabba yuhibbu ihbaban, to love, and tabi'iyun, natural. So alhamdulillah, we have completed our lesson number 28. It was really a heavy lesson, I would say. Lots of beautiful things that we have learned. But after completing this lesson, inshallah, our comprehension of the Quran will definitely increase a lot. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.